came across a report on LinkedIn by AutoMotive, and again, just made me laugh. December saw electric cars record their strongest month on record in the UK, finishing the year with a market share of 33%. Only an idiot would pre-register a car because it's going to be a year old in a couple of weeks, or in most cases when they register them on New Year's EV, the next day it's a year older and it's devalued a whole lot. So only a complete moron would register a car in December. But yet every December, EV sales go through the roof. What does that tell you? They don't sell them. They don't sell them, they're just registering them to get the figures up for the year. And also so they can say 1 in 3, well, they said 1 in 3 are electric. They conveniently forget that hybrids have a petrol engine or a diesel engine, and most people they never plug them in. So they forget about that. They're electric then. They forget about the engine. Forget all about that, they're electric. As I've said before, Andy Murray, when he loses, he's Scottish. When he wins, he's English. It was the same with Lennox Lewis. When Lennox Lewis lost, he was Canadian. When he won, he was English. It's the same with EVs and electric vehicles. A hybrid's electric when it's good news. When it's bad news, it's a petrol. No doubt, when sales start to fall, petrol hybrids. Honestly, it's a joke. And these people, I can only assume that these people have got nothing and have never had anything to do with the motor trade, and they can't understand what's going on. They just look at figures and think, oh yeah, that's it, figures, spreadsheet, but got no idea what they're looking at. Across 2025, electric car registrations grew by more than 20% compared with last year, reaching nearly 477,000 vehicles and taking just under a quarter of the total market. They needed 28%. So, when I went to school, a quarter was less. Car manufacturers, meanwhile, finished the year well ahead of their ZEV mandate requirements, with a market generating around 60,000 surplus credits overall. Taking just under a quarter of the total market, but they needed 28%. And they finished 60,000 credit surplus. But they sold less than the target, but finished more. Okay. Electric vans closed the year just short of their estimated real-world ZEV mandate requirement, missing compliance by a fraction. However, further flexibilities mean van manufacturers are unlikely to face fines. Electric HGVs also recorded another strong month, continuing early but accelerating momentum in the segment. For the latest insights on the UK car, van and HGV market, explore our newest edition of Electric Car Count here. You have to pay for that, so I contacted them. Hi there. I read this article with interest and note that your calculations show that the UK motor trade will hit the ZEV mandate target when flexibilities are taken into account. In fact, with 60,000 credits to spare. Perhaps they could sell some back to Tesla and the Chinese that they bought last year when they also achieved the target. I wondered if this was actually the case, why the manufacturers and dealers were still pre-registering EVs on New Year's Eve, and just compounding the catastrophic depreciation pressure that EVs are already plagued with. A year old the next day. A year old and the old reg in 8 weeks. I'm especially sceptical as the SMMT says it has cost the motor trade £5 billion this year at a rate of approximately £11,000 per EV that they've given away in order to meet the ZEV mandate. Interestingly, they also say that we're further away from hitting the target this year than we were last year. Almost twice as far away, in fact. So to put our mind at rest, please could you share with us your flexibilities calculation? In particular, how many low emission ICE engine and hybrid cars are included in the said flexibilities? Thanks in advance, Barry. Now, I've sent them this message over and over again. I've sent it on Twitter and I've sent it on LinkedIn. No reply. Sent them another message. Also, if the ZEV mandate was hit, why do you think the SMMT would be calling for the UK government to bring forward a review because the current targets are, in their words, unachievable? But you say they've achieved them with a 60,000 surplus. Somewhere is wrong or lying. What do you know that the SMMT doesn't? I've repeated this every single day on Twitter and on LinkedIn. No answer. All we have to do, let's just go to the SMMT. They show you the figures, and then at the bottom, let me see if I can find it. Yes, at the bottom, there's a couple of things. There's notes to editors 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is the SMMT. Meanwhile, almost 5,473,348 new BEVs were registered during 2025. Registered. More than in the whole of 2021 and 2022 combined. This huge volume, which is likely to place the UK as the second biggest EV market in Europe by volume, the second biggest losers, saw BEV market share rise to reach 23.4%. A strong uplift, but with a mandate target of 28%, the gap between demand and ambition is increasing rather than diminishing. That's 3. We go down to 3. 3. 2024 BEV share 19.6 versus mandate target of 22%. So they were down by 2.4%, difference of 2.4 percentage points. 2025 BEV share 23.4% versus mandate target of 28%, difference of 4.6%. That's nearly twice. The gap's nearly twice as big as it was last year. And next year, it'll be 3 times at least bigger. So that was number 3. Massive manufacturing investment now provides a choice of more than 160 BEV models, up from just over 130 at the start of 2025, with at least 60 more due in 2026. However, EV uptake has risen by only 23.9%. The long-awaited return of a grant for EV purchases has helped, although only around a quarter of models are currently eligible for the incentive at any level. It is manufacturers, therefore, that continue to shoulder the burden of driving up demand, subsidising their sale by more than $5 billion in 2025, equivalent to a massive 11,000 per BEV registered. That's 4. Such subsidies are clearly unsustainable. Furthermore, the announcement of a new EVED tax on EVs purchased from 2028 sends a confusing message to consumers, undermining rather than encouraging market confidence. And that's the Motor Trader Society. Autocar. Is there a date on this? Will Rimmel, 6th of January 2026. Car makers miss 2025 ZEV targets despite offering 5.5 billion in discounts. UK records highest number of new car sales since 2019 amid tough economic and geopolitical headwinds. Car makers again missed the UK's mandated target for electric vehicle sales in 2025, despite slashing EV prices more than 5.5 billion in self-administered discounts, raising further questions from the country's largest trade body on whether the ZEV scheme is still fit for purpose. Still fit for purpose? It's never been fit for purpose. What do you mean still? The UK achieved a record number of EV sales last year, 473,340, and overall new car sales surpassed 2 million registrations for the first time since 2019, but its 23.4% market share was 92,354 sales short of reaching the UK mandated 28% target since it was introduced in 2024. The ZEV target has yet to be hit. Now then, for the car makers to hit the raised 33% target for 2026, EV sales will need to increase by 42%, predicts the SMMT. This looks nearly impossible to do. You think? They've not hit last year's, and they've not hit the years before, and this year it's going up 42%. Plus, don't forget, if there's any shortfall, it's either £12,000 a car. It used to be £15,000 a car, but they reduced it. Now, it's £12,000. So for everyone they fall short, they've got to pay £12,000. And that's before the effects of the recently announced paper mile EV tax, due to come in force in 2027, and which SMMT boss Mike Hawes suggested will put many buyers off, are taken into account. Asked what was needed to get EV sales to the mandated level, Hawes said further discounting by manufacturers was not the answer. It is not just about the headline figures, but also the cost of growth, he told Autocar at a briefing on Monday. Last year, we estimate approximately 5.5 billion was offered in discounting on EVs by manufacturers. You put that into an individual model, that's about £11,000 per EV sold. The fine per EV model, should you not comply, is £12,000. So they're sailing very close to that particular wind. They're already fining themselves £12,000 on the cars they're selling. These people are idiots. They need to stop it. They need to say no, no more. It's a silly target. Whoever worked it out, is in the wrong job. We're not even going to try. We're going to sell the electric vehicles that we can sell to the people they suit, not try and force them on people they don't suit. That's what they should do. And you can see the strategy that is there. It is to push the market to achieve these targets rather than pay a fine. Hawes added that the introduction in August of the government's electric car grant, which reduces the prices of a qualifying new EV by up to £3,750, was no doubt driving the market and increasing the number of EVs being sold, but said more was still needed, as manufacturers cutting the prices of their own cars collectively by 5.5 billion just to attempt to comply with the ZEV mandate is not sustainable. The whole thing is a joke. It's not a funny joke. It's not a ha-ha kind of joke. It's a sick joke. It's the government and stupid lobbyists forcing the motor trade down the plug hole. The motor trade is circling the drain. It's going down for the third time. And these people are putting more water in it. Set them targets. Let's see how they like it. Non-profit making firms. Oh my God. No pressure. He can go home on a Friday night, see his kids, his wife, go out doing whatever it is, cycling. No pressure. Go back in the Monday morning, no pressure. A salesman, let me tell you this. Salesmen, they have a target. They have a new car target, a used car target, a finance target, accessories target, other silly things like gap insurance, stuff that's impossible to sell, virtually. And most of the time is a waste of time. minor collision damage, paint damage, alloy wheel damage, tyre insurance. They've got all these. And then they do it, they hit the target, and then the next day, the first of the next month, it all starts again. And you've got people sat behind a desk making stupid lies up about electric vehicles, telling the people who sell cars what they should be doing. Well, I've got a message for you. Go and yourself. Go and get a proper job. See how you like it. See how you like being under pressure. See how you like not wanting to go home until you've sold a car. And then come and talk to me about it. Until then, keep it shut. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.